Hello there, my friends, and welcome to the Glow Up Method. This is the place. This is the space where we grow, we glow, we pursue, we discover a life that makes us proud. Hi there, my name is Natasha, and I am here. I have been exhausted today. I tried doing sleeping in a bed again, and I really never thought I would miss sleeping in my little cocoon. But yeah, it's an extremely uncomfortable situation. Like, first off, it's been 2 months since my body's really slept in a bed for like an overnight. So sleeping on my sides, on my hips, everything, like I'm unable to sleep on my back. Like, it was very unrestful. It was stuffy. It was like I could not get comfortable. And every time, I wake up, I'd want to roll over to get comfortable. And that is a whole effort. So while on my feet, I can get a lot more done than I could have before. The laying down was exhausting. So I took a bath. I really realized, like, when I woke up, that I needed more nurturing. I needed more rest. I needed some relaxation, and I needed to give myself permission to stop. I needed to give myself permission to not be me, in the sense that I'm always pushing through. It was like, no, I'm exhausted. I almost didn't even go to the gym tonight. I really wasn't going to, but I had a girlfriend who is going with us on a trip, and she was from Pleasanton, and these other ladies are all predominantly from Fremont. And so I really wanted to connect and help her because she was looking for a roommate and all these things. So I'm really excited that I was able to help facilitate and be part of her getting to enjoy and experience this place, this event with us. But I also know that I had built up a whole day's worth of rest. Like I said, I gave myself an Epsom salt magnesium bath. That just felt so good. I didn't do it hot because I didn't know, like, am I allowed to be in hot water? But it just felt so good to lay there and nurture myself. I can't tell you. It was just heavenly. I then, did my whole little cream routine, and, I did some little things around here, and I finally went back into my cocoon, and I pushed the massage button, and I almost was done. Like, I almost was about to go to sleep, but then work called, this email came through. I was trying to help my son find a way that he is leaving. So he won a trip, both my sons, and one of them is still competing while on this trip. Well, they both are, but one's competing for something tomorrow specifically. So, the hotel originally said it had wired internet. I called to find out, no, we only have Wi-Fi. And I was like, okay, is there a business center? Is there this? So it was like reaching out to every different manager, salespeople, maintenance, to see who it is to get this. And then I ran out of everything. So, I was like, well, if not you, who? I'm really good at trying to find the answers if I don't get the one I needed. Okay, well, what's plan B? Plan B is, let's go outside of here. Okay, then I call around. Places are closed on Saturday, this and this and this. Finally, I happened to call a Capital One cafe, and I'm like, cool, I have a Capital One card. So, I call a Capital One cafe, and they're like, it's open to public. But because they're with the bank, they don't have wired internet because of security reasons, as they should not. So that struck out. But I got the nicest gentleman who was like, well, I'm invested in the story of yours. Let me see what I can do. Hold on. And so he starts calling around looking for places, and he finds me a place that's 10 minutes from the hotel that he can go and play in. And so, whatever my Google search, my ChatGPT search never came up with this option. So I met a lovely man named on the phone named Simon from Game Time in Glendale, and he's going to make it happen. He's setting him up in a private room. He's giving him a PlayStation. He's giving him a LAN cable, and he is going to have a monitor. So he can go in there and have the best chance at competing and winning this other event thing for him. The more he wins, the more he gets his name out there, and, good for him. More practice he gets. So that was pretty awesome. And then, Yeah, so, the whole point of this today was twofold. There were two things I really wanted to talk about. Number one was listening to your body. I needed to listen to my body. For the last 2 days, I had bumped up my steps up to 15,000. I had also included, I was going to the gym. That's part of that 15,000. I've been doing more on my arm resistance workouts. I've been just getting a lot of cleaning and a lot done. And I'm in a hurry to get them done because I want to be settled. But today my body was like, it was like you got hit with a Mack truck. And it wasn't like I did too much. It was just like I'm at my limit and I can't do anymore. And so I did, of course, be the momager and help to find a solution for my son, which hopefully will be super helpful for him because I'm not there. It felt like this is something I could do. And I'm really excited that they all get to go and have this experience, and that's where Chris will get to be for his Father's Day. And, that's pretty cool. And he won't have all of his kids with him, but he will have 50% of them. So that's another great thing. And I'm excited. It'll just be Tyler and I here, having chill vibes for the next, few days until Tuesday. And, I continue to want to, over these next weekend, what I have in store for me is rest and getting more things done, more things cleaned out, more things organized. That's really gonna give me this place where I can go into my own vacation feeling freer and peaceful. And so when I return, I'm ready to work, and then I leave again, but then ready to do my, like, really ready to work and go. So it's crazy to me, like the whole month of June is already almost gone, and we're running into July here, and I just can't even fathom how quickly times are going. And so I just really want to reiterate, like, there's times in our lives that we have to push ourselves, right? Like, yes, there are times that we have to do our bare minimums if that's all we got. But I'm really in this phase of my life where I'm learning how to nurture me. Previously, I would have pushed through, and there was so many moments in today that it was like this conundrum, like, if I stay in my pajamas, then I won't do as much, but I don't feel comfortable in what I'm doing. Like, what I'm wearing, it hurts my stomach. Like, I'm not comfortable. So I want to be also out of pain. So how do I get out of pain and do these things? And I was like, but then, it's like this thing, if I take a shower, then I do my daily dose of dysregulation, like it wakes me up, and realizing that, like, this bath was this perfect in between, where it was like I still got to rest a little bit longer, but I wasn't, and I still got to, like, get into something more comfortable, but I wasn't, like, overexerting myself. And at one point I even opened the curtains in the house, which I usually do, and I was like, you know what, this is not happening today. And I shut them back, and the kids even came down, and they're like, awfully dark down here today. And I was like, I need this. Like, I just need the permission to give myself to rest. And so that would be my first topic. And my second thing is resources. When we are talking to people, you don't know what my powerhouse is versus what your powerhouse is. That's why I say all the time, like, we are meant to be a village. We are meant to be a community. We are not meant to do this life all on our own, because the things that I am really challenged at just so happen to be the things that you are amazing at and you don't even think twice about. Whereas the opposite may go for me. And so I don't necessarily know or have this specific niche of something that I'm just so good at. I'm pretty resourceful. I'm good at finding things. I'm good at making connections. I'm good at helping people and helping myself and solving problems. And I'm good at not taking no for an answer all the time. And especially if it's somebody else, like if it pertains to somebody else, like I will find a way. And it may not have been the most ideal, right? Where my son could have a wired connection in his internet, but in the hotel room, but we found him an option that is pretty cool. And then I also feel like even today where, one of the ladies decided yesterday she wanted to go on the thing, making those connections and saying, hey, here's this, here's that, here's this, helping to coordinate things. Oh, here, I have a friend, Annie, she's looking for a room. Oh, here's Phoebe, let's introduce each other. Let's make this happen so that everybody can go and have the experience and not have to spend an astronomical amount of money or anything. So I think it's fabulous to connect people, and everybody has different strengths and powers. And I think it's important to open up your world, open up your community, because when you share, you never realize what what kind of service you are being of somebody. You know, when you keep your mouth closed and you hear somebody, you know, complaining about like mortgage rates, and you're a lender and you don't say anything, well, you're doing these people a disservice. This is your gift. This is your powerhouse. And it is your responsibility, in a sense, to share that with somebody else. Now, do they have to take you up on your offer or, you know, listen to your advice? No, that's whatever they do with it is on them. Your job is to be of service to people and let them know what you can do or who you can connect them with to help them through a problem. That is something that's so beautiful. A part of this human experience is you aren't alone, and we all aren't good at the same things. And that's why as a team, we are so much better. We are just absolutely so much better. So that's part of why I've always had this theory, this desire, this want to have a teammate. I don't want to live in a dictatorship. Like, I don't want to just be the boss. Like, I want to collab. Like, there are things that I have never thought of. There are paths that I'm not aware of. There are so many things that I am excited to learn. I just personally don't know them yet, or haven't wanted to, or even if I've tried to learn, it's just not clicking with me. So it's really important to broaden your community. And again, if you're a little more intimidated, like if you're more introverted, I can understand how that's a problem. Believe me, I'm raising my hand. I was a huge introvert. I was so shy in school. I was so shy, even probably in my early 20s. And then finally, I just kind of emerged, and it was like, listen, we got to get going, like sink or swim. These, you know, these kids need you, and they're your responsibility. So it's time to pony up, and you got this. And slowly, I emerged. And the first version of me that emerged was who I thought you wanted me to be. Not you here on the Glow Up Method, but who you were in my life. If you were a coworker, if you were a fellow volunteer, if you were a teacher, if you were, you know, my significant other, a friend, even a family member. I showed up in who was, like, in a way, it was very unintentional, but intentional. I showed up the way I thought that you would want me to. I showed up in the way that you would love me the most. And you would, if you loved me, like, not the most in the world, but the way you loved me the most, like how I was, you know, if I was always helpful, if I always provided money, if I always provided job or advice or an ear or a dinner or whatever it is, whatever it was that I was always providing, that in a sense made me feel like safe, that yes, maybe I might be extending myself too much, but I'm also ensuring that you're going to be in my life because I love you, and I show you I love you, and you're happy. And so those were the sides I would show different people of me. All those were versions of me in a sense, right? But they were definitely tailored to who was in the room. And now I listen to myself. I'm tailoring my life to, in a sense, and I know it's going to sound like weird, the most important person I'm with in the room, and that's myself. Like, because at the end of the day, I'm always with myself, and that doesn't mean I don't care about how you feel, or I don't want you to feel well, or I'm not going to compliment you. No, it's the opposite. It's just, it is my job to take care of me. And I never really understood that. I always thought that there would be somebody else to take care of me, or I was always accustomed to having this experience where I had this expectation someone was going to take care of me, i.e. my parents, and then they don't, i.e. my parents, and then I'm devastated. And that was, i.e. my childhood, right? And so I have learned now to counter myself and not create this pattern. So when, you know, Chris wasn't showing up for me, then I was upset. It was this full pattern that I was replicating over and over. And the only thing that stopped this consistent feeling and this exchange of, and maybe it's my parents now and Chris now, and then my kids or a friend or a cousin or whatever it was, that now that I've learned to not only depend on myself, but care about myself. Like, question who it is and what it is I want to do, like I feel better about the situations because I'm not just this afterthought or this annoyance that's saying I'm not happy, like, and just living this world in a very, very painful way. And so I have adapted the way I feel and interact with others. And so the person I show up as today is me. Like in the car, I went with my friend to the gym. She wanted to carpool. So we carpooled there. And she's been asking me to carpool there for a long time. And then she said, "Do you want to carpool? We can meet at Safeway." I said, "Sure." And then she was like, "Really?" Oh, she got so excited. And then she's like, "Oh, do you want to just meet at my house?" I'm like, "Sure." It's fine. Like, yeah. And she was like, "I was so happy that you did this." And you don't realize like how just one little change in your system or thing can make someone so happy. And I got to be myself and we got to talk, and I love that. I love it so much because here we were, these two ladies who are really just thinking out the best for other people, right? We were literally like brainstorming in the car. It wasn't even our problem, but we were like, how can Javier grow? Like our dance instructor, how can he, acquire passive income? Like I say it all the time. I started my dance fitness journey watching YouTubes, and they have a fraction of his beauty and energy and spirit. He wears his heart on his sleeve when he's dancing. And even today, as we were dancing, she had the sweetest compliment afterwards. And she said that there was a few moments in the class today where she almost started to cry because it was just so beautiful. Like the way he moved and the way he encapsulated the spirit of the dance. Like she said it's just so beautiful, and I've only seen this two other times, with two instructors, him being one of them. So I just thought, well, what a beautiful compliment that is. And so I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to go. I had the opportunity to not only to carpool, to hear her perspective of someone I really truly care about, and to have this experience of dance with 50 other people in the class and have a good time, and pushed through where I needed to, even though I initially didn't want to go. I was so glad once I got there. I was so glad on the way there. I was so glad that I gave myself the nurturing in the morning that would have enabled me to be able to go, because had I pushed myself all day, there was zero chance I was showing up in that class. So I'm in a healing journey. This is a physical healing journey, but it is also a mental, spiritual, and an emotional healing journey. So whatever journey you are on, know that number one, listen to yourself. There are going to be days that you need to rest. And maybe you're a type of person that schedules rest. I do not. I basically have made an agreement that I will listen to my body. Same goes with my intermittent fasting. There are days in which I'm going to break my fast early or extend my fast late. If I am hungry, I'm going to listen to my body. It's not about torturing myself and willpowering it out always. It is also about loving myself and saying the food is here. It is safe. You are safe. You are loved, and you are worthy of nutrition if you need it. I know you do a lot. And second is we have beautiful communities around us. And I know sometimes some of us have been really burned by people, and that makes it even more challenging to go out there and accept the love, care, and resourcefulness of others. We can be in somebody else's life and they can be in ours, and then we can be in ours as a community. So I think it's really important to know that maybe you don't have all the answers. Like I didn't have any answers about, finding this internet for my son today. And 3 hours later, thanks to this person who knew this person who had this resource, who would this, who, didn't take no for an answer, we found him a solution. And I think that that's a beautiful thing. And we get to support a small business in the process of it too. And I was like, I'm going to tell my son to shout you out, like hopefully he has some viewers around there, and, and sometimes they're in LA and they need some internet. Well, there you go. So I say all this to say, thank you so much for tuning in today. It is 11:45 p.m. and I am ready to go to bed. I need to shower, do all my drills, so it's gonna be another hour anyways. But thank you so much for tuning in today. I am so grateful for you. My request is this: please go out there today, give yourself a big old smile, give yourself a compliment. Today my compliment is this: I am so proud of you for letting yourself rest. You even watched a TV show, so good for you. Didn't get through the whole thing, but that's a whole side story. And then secondly, please go out there today, give that big beautiful smile to somebody else and give them a compliment and just watch how they glow up. So thank you. Bye.